everybody. Welcome to .NET Conf, day one, almost end of day one. I'm Maddie Montequilla. I'm here with my good friend Dave.
David Ortnow, Product Manager, .NET MAUI.
.NET MAUI, and we are very excited. We're here to talk about what's new with MAUI, which is a lot. If you saw the keynote, we put in just like a sneak peek of some stuff. We showed a little bit of C# Dev Kit. We talked a little bit about the .NET 8 features. We're gonna dive into all of those. We have like 40 minutes, and then we have 5 minutes for Q&A. So like Rich said, start sending those in, and we'll get to them at the end. So, slide time, hopefully. My computer, my poor HDMI port is not having a good time today. So, oh, all right. Swap my, oh no, I'm in presenter view. I'm sorry. You would think I've done this before. Apparently I haven't. How's that? You good? Yeah, I'm so good at this. Nice, great start. Okay, what's new with .NET MAUI? Thanks, everybody. All right, if you haven't heard of .NET MAUI yet, or you don't know why we call it .NET MAUI, it is .NET Multi-Platform App UI, which is how you build cross-platform apps from a single code base with .NET, with C# and XAML, and all of the other amazing things you know and love from .NET. So you can go for Windows, Mac, Android, and iOS devices from a single code base. We are 18 months old now.
Yes.
Which is very exciting.
We're toddling along.
We're toddling along. We've just learned to walk. This is a great time for us. And we've had an awesome 18 months just getting to become more of a first-party part of .NET and really starting to bring together the story. We'll talk a little bit about Blazor Hybrid and tease a talk tomorrow about it, but also just seeing what everyone's been building, all the apps, and all of the engagement we've had. .NET MAUI, pretty popular
It is.
On the internet. Very exciting. Top 2 active GitHub users in .NET and most active in the .NET Foundation, which is pretty awesome. So lots of momentum, and we always make sure we turn that back on all of you and thank you for all of the work you've been doing to make it so great. We've actually passed .NET Core in stars, which is pretty cool. Gotta say, pretty exciting.
Very exciting.
And of course, just in terms of C# repos, we're still pretty popular on GitHub too. One thing that we said in the keynote, because the keynote was recorded a whole week ago, if you can't tell, I'm not wearing the same shirt. So we said 1,500 and almost 600 issues closed or something for PRs. We actually had more come in since we recorded the keynote a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, we accidentally shipped weekly. Not accidentally, it was on purpose.
Yeah.
We shipped weekly throughout the RC2 time frame. And then when we started talking about Service Release 1, the team said, well, what are we going to include?
Yeah.
And Shane from the team says, well, we kind of included them all in the weekly RCs. So you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. More fixes for you.
Yeah, very exciting. And so we're not going to go and list out all 600 issues we closed, but we'll try and give you a good summary of everything and get you on your way.
So we have a lot of customers using .NET MAUI, which is super exciting. Some of these are the same icons, company logos that you may have seen at Build just last May. 3M is on there, Fidelity, and I was super excited to see the NBC Sports Next. I did not know that we had done a video, and so when I saw that in the keynote, I was like, what? I mean, I knew who they were. I'd spoken with them. Yeah. I was excited to see it, but that was a wonderful treat. So if you have not seen that from the keynote, go back and check that out. We are working on other case studies that we can publish to the website, so you can look forward to that in the future. That takes some time, right? So, but super excited about the momentum that we have with our customers.
Yeah.
And not only with customers, but inside of Microsoft. We get asked this question a lot. Does anybody really use .NET MAUI at Microsoft? Absolutely. So 3 such customers within Microsoft. There's the Microsoft 365 admin app for SharePoint. It's both an Android and iOS app using .NET MAUI. And then we've got the Microsoft Azure app, which is using .NET for Android, .NET for iOS. And then we just found out about the Store Commerce app not too long ago by looking at the apps that were out there and seeing, okay, well, what are they made with? And then we discovered, oh, there's somebody we've never even spoken to.
Very exciting.
Using .NET MAUI. So that happens all the time. Large organization, as you can imagine. And so we're very excited to see the increasing adoption within Microsoft. And we'll continue to work towards getting more of our partner teams involved.
I like that. I was using the Azure app the other day to restart my Minecraft server. So MAUI for the win. That's all I have to say about that.
So .NET MAUI and .NET 8, what have we shipped? Improved performance and memory management. Super excited about that. That's kind of one of those table stakes things that you're just always working on, right?
Yeah.
And so in some releases, we focus on it heavily with goals in mind. In other releases, it's just something that we opportunistically take advantage of wins, and we continue to push things forward. It's certainly making sure we never regress in those areas. And so if you've not seen it, Jonathan Pepper's exhaustive blog post. He had a session earlier today, also with some of our other teammates. And so check that out. You'll see lots of great details there. Smaller apps, faster apps. That's kind of the summary, right? And then, memory management, getting rid of those memory leaks, super important. Hybrid and desktop features, I would say that in terms of new features coming to you in .NET 8, that is what we're going to showcase. That doesn't mean that the mobile platforms don't benefit from some of those things, but we'll talk about them in the desktop context. And then flexible tooling for development, tons of bug fixes and stability work. I would say, really, if you look at the release notes for .NET MAUI itself, bug fixes, just like top to bottom bug fixes. I think Rachel from our team was pulling together release notes yesterday, and she says, I can't actually include them all in the release notes. GitHub won't let me. There's too many fixes, too many PRs.
That's pretty good. Yeah. A whole year's worth of fixes. So.
I know, super exciting.
Very exciting. Yeah, Dave just teased Pepper's blog post, which if you've read the all up .NET version of this from Stephen Taub, which is like a bit of like .NET lore at this point.
It is.
Like I see the hype building for like the .NET performance improvements blog, and Peppers has started doing a not small but smaller version of it just for Maui, and this is just the screenshots I took of the table of contents, which I had to split into 3 screenshots because there was that much. Yeah. All of the app size stuff I think is something we hear about all the time, like, will my apps get smaller? Apps keep getting bigger because we keep putting pictures in everything, and they get prettier and heavier and do more things. So we're making them smaller for you on the framework side. And very interesting blog post. Last year, I tried to review the blog post and give like helpful feedback. This year, I just enjoyed it with a cup of coffee and didn't even try.
I'm glad he includes pictures.
Me too.
I'm like, show me some charts, show me some graphs, show me some pictures. Please include side-by-side animations like this, because this really lands it at home, that this is the work and how it actually impacts end user experiences.
Yep.
I can grok that. I can understand that.
Yeah. This is literally just on the left side here, we have Windows, and on the right side, we have Mac. Literally just navigating to and from pages. And you can see the total memory on the bottom there, just going up in .NET 7 and not really going up in .NET 8. And that's what memory leaks are.
Yeah, and if this is something that you're like, wow, I think my app might be symptomatic of some of these things, or I'm concerned about it, we actually have a really great wiki on the .NET MAUI GitHub repository, as well as some design documents inside the repo that will kind of give you some idea of best practices, not only for how you build your UIs to prevent and avoid these sorts of things, but also for how you can profile and determine if you indeed do have a memory leak and where it might be coming from. It might be your code, might be our code. So yeah, check that out if you're interested and in need of help.
Cool. Yeah, and the cool thing about Maui and all of these fixes is that they apply not just to native Maui apps, but they also apply to any of your Maui hybrid apps, whether that's with Blazor or otherwise. And so Blazor Hybrid's amazing. We have a ton of customers actually already shipping like Blazor Hybrid apps to the store. They took their web app and they plopped it on the desktop or whatever it is. And tomorrow there is a session. If you're interested, I think the time is on the next slide, but if you're interested in Blazor Hybrid at all, it's pretty powerful. It's a really great way to start using .NET MAUI, start experiencing like the client app side of things without having to totally like throw away your web skills or relearn something. So, and just so you all know, it is not internet required. It's not running the browser. Right. That's not how it works. Yeah. It's very cool. Yeah. And something we've been experimenting with that will be in this session tomorrow at 3:30 Pacific time, so 6:30 Eastern time and whatever else other times, is the HybridWebView Experiment, which is actually not even Blazor. It is just hybrid. Right. In this example, Beth and Alon, who are going to give the session, they put together one with React in it. So worth a check out if you have some web technology that you want to reuse and you want to start integrating more .NET into your stack, but you're not ready to totally rip out JavaScript or whatever it is.
Yeah, React components, Angular components, your homegrown Vue stuff, or whatever you happen to have.
Yep.
It can all work within a MAUI hybrid application. And I think the architecture and everything that Alon Lipton did to pull together the hybrid WebView, very much inspired by and borrowed a lot of the concepts from the Blazor WebView.
Yeah.
certainly our recommendation, use Blazor.
Well, yeah.
Blazor, you're going to get the best premium experience there. The tooling is great. The whole thing is the best way to go.
Yeah.
But a lot of customers that we talk to have, hey, we have React, we have Angular, we have Vue. How can we share some of that in our MAUI apps too?
Yeah.
So.
How can we start using .NET? Bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And so the biggest scenario, I think, for Blazor Hybrid and the HybridWebView stuff has been on desktop. And MAUI really started as a mobile-first technology, and we've embraced the desktop a lot since we were in our early preview days. And so in .NET 7, we did a lot of work in desktop features with things just like being able to hover your pointer over something, and the app reacts, or just like right-clicking and calling the secondary click menu, if you will. Which on mobile, there are ways to do that. You hold with 2 fingers or whatever it is. But really, that was a gesture that you expect on desktop. And in .NET 8, we kept doing things with custom keyboard accelerators, drag and drop gestures, and pointer gestures, so when you press things and release things. And they're all, in classic MAUI fashion, not that hard to build. Literally, keyboard accelerator, key F, modifier, control. Even I can understand that. Drag and drop, which Dave's demo is great, so I'm not even going to try and explain this. And pointer gestures. This was an internal demo from when we first shipped this. And we showed some of the engineers yesterday. We're showing this, and they were like, we would have made a better GIF. Like, why didn't you tell us?
I think it shows it just fine. And I think that I was talking to John Dick, the lead for the MAUI engineering team. And I said, I think, we're seeing a lot of requests for long press gestures.
Ooh.
So what can we do there? He's like, yeah, we can definitely talk about getting that on the backlog. But, with the pointer pressed and pointer released, that's essentially your long press, bones right there, right?
Oh, yeah.
You build it with that. And so, yeah, it's totally within your grasp to write your own behavior that would do that, or wrap your own gesture and make that happen. Using these new fundamental things. And I think that's one of the changes that we've been making in MAUI, as opposed to what you might have seen from Xamarin Forms, is that how can we expose more of the bare bones stuff, the platform level stuff, so that you can compose it into the experiences you need. And then we'll provide those cross-platform things where we can, as we have time, et cetera, and provide a long press gesture at some point perhaps.
Yep.
But in the interim, because we've already supplied you with the raw telemetry from the pointer that you need, you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
Let's empower developers.
Wow. That's nice. All right, show us how you do all these things. This is very exciting.
All right, let's switch over to my laptop. So I've got my trusty old point of sale food app here, which I think is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
So I want to just kind of feature some of the desktop specific things that have been added. Some of these started in .NET 7, have kind of reached their maturity in .NET 8 here. But as I roll over, you'll see that, hey, what is that? Is that a pointer cursor? What? So yeah, that is a behavior that I've written because I can do that in .NET MAUI. .NET MAUI makes it super easy for me to do those platform things. And so I'll show you that code in a minute, but I want to just give you a quick tour of things. I can right-click on these. I have added those context menus. Context menus was a .NET 7 thing. So that's very nice. And that does, some of these also work on like iPadOS and Android because they take on some of those desktop characteristics. And of course, with an iPad, you could have a keyboard.
Yeah.
And so it's more common. And so these things are supported there. Let's see, what else is here? So I have menus. So if we look in the upper left corner here, I have add product category. These are my custom menu items that I've added to the application with icons and with shortcuts. Keyboard accelerators are these shortcuts, new in .NET 8. So I'm really excited to see that come. We had those kind of in Xamarin Forms in a preview fashion only on Mac. So I'm really glad to have those. So what I can do with that, if you noticed, it was a Shift Command A. So when I do Shift Command A, and you may have seen that I actually did type that down here.
That's cool.
I get my add product slide out. Now I can, of course, click the cancel button, but what if I open it, Command Shift A, and I hit the escape key? Oh, why did you do that? Oh, because I set a breakpoint because I'm in VS Code, and VS Code with that .NET MAUI is awesome.
Was that planned, or did you just leave that breakpoint there?
I left it there. I just kind of forgot that I left it there.
That's pretty good.
Just kind of surprise yourself sometimes, you know? Oh, that's great. So how did I do the escape part? Okay, so the first one is a keyboard accelerator. I'll go back and show you that code in a minute. It's associated to a menu item. This is not associated to a menu item. It's just out of the blue, I hit the escape key, and I wanted it to do the same thing that hitting cancel does. And so that's what's happening here. The keyboard up got triggered. What is the keyboard up? Well, I have a keyboard behavior here that I have added to my application. And so this is a content view. I've added the keyboard behavior. And so on key up, so not key down.
Okay.
I could do key down if I wanted.
Okay.
But that's a little too aggressive.
A little bit.
So key up. And so I have a listener here. I check to see what key was pressed. Is escape in there? It is indeed.
Wow.
And so I can then continue on. And just to drive home the point about it being VS Code, look at all the debugging information that I get here, as you would expect. I mean, I know it's not rainbows and unicorns, but it's pretty amazing when you need a debugger.
Yeah.
Right. So I have found that to be super useful. All right, so continue on. Did I actually get out of the application or out of the window? I did indeed. Very exciting. All right, a couple of other cool things that this application does. I can do drag and drop. Look at that. So how am I doing the hover? How am I doing the drag and drop? So the hover on this, it's Visual State Manager.
Oh.
And I'm using pointer events to do that. So when I have a pointer event that says pointer hovered, pointer exited, or I'll show it to you. I can then change the visual state of this particular view to indicate that that's what's happening. That's also how I'm doing this cursor thing.
That's cool.
Drag and drop is itself a drag and drop gesture. And so I can drag things over here. And what's happening over here is when I'm dragging over and it knows that I'm over the target, it's also changing the visual state on that sidebar to show that it's a different color, give a plus icon, give some visual indicator that I can drop on that the thing I'm dragging is associated to that. Okay, so very cool. And I'm also very proud that I can keep dragging things over here and it actually increments the thing that I'm adding. It doesn't add duplicates.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
I just want to, I'm proud of myself. I'm a developer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it didn't do that this time yesterday.
No, none of this. Actually, everything I'm showing you, for the most part, 99% of it, was written yesterday.
Yeah.
So
I have not seen this demo yet, and I'm loving it. I am eating it up. So,
right. So
and now I'm hungry.
One of the other cool things that drag and drop does, this is probably by far the most exciting thing, is that I can add custom, what is it I'm dragging? So Scott Hunter likes to drink sodas in the morning because he doesn't drink coffee. This is how he gets his morning caffeine. So I'm gonna get some sodas for Scott, right?
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
For milk, oh, that's Sweeky. Sweeky drinks milk. Just wait. Just wait.
Oh, no. I've only seen Scott.
Juice. Oh, it's Rachel.
It's Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. We all enjoyed Rachel and Gerald emceeing earlier today. So let's.
Great.
We gotta get all the beverages here, right? So who was iced tea? Who was iced tea? Ah, it's Beth.
Aww.
Oh, Beth has the best picture. I tried to find an embarrassing picture of Beth on the internet. Couldn't find it.
No.
Couldn't find it. I had it in private chats, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Coffee. Oh, I know who this is. This is me.
Oh, okay.
This is Christmas last year stash Dave. I was on my, what's that guy's name from
Ron
Parks and
Swanson.
Ron Swanson. That was my Ron Swanson attempt. Very cool. And last but not least,
no.
who likes hot tea? Who orders tea all the time at Starbucks? None other than Maddie. Do you know how hard it was for me to find this photo on the internet? It shouldn't have been so hard.
No, that's last year's .NET Conf,
All right, so.
That's pretty good.
So there's the intro to the application, but you're like, but Dave, show me more code.
You see, we need a Twitter poll at some point. Hawaiian shirts are making a comeback for .NET 9. We had an argument. We said .NET 7 Hawaiian shirts. Dave said no more Hawaiian shirts for .NET 8. I said fine. Okay. .NET 9, they're coming back.
All right, well.
Because that's a great picture.
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
All right, so I have my Maui solution here. If you've never heard the term single project before, this is a single project. It is one project. Ignore the API project. That's not part of the application. So the application that runs on Android, iOS, Mac, and Windows is all running from a single project using .NET multi-targeting. So I can focus on just one thing to do all my stuff. So a couple of things to note here. I'll kind of scoot over. So I have a plugin for the key listener. Remember when I hit the escape key and I was able to listen to it and do something? Because Maui delivers to me all of the bare bones that I need to do keyboard-related things, I was able to very easily write my own plugin. I am a NuGet author.
Yeah.
As of like
wow.
few weeks ago. I'm a NuGet author.
Wow.
Never before. How did I do it? Well, Gerald, our guy Gerald,
So
put out a little video and a sample repo and said, this is how you make plugins for Maui. And then people went bananas, like plugins for this and plugins for that. And I'm like, I'm gonna make a plugin.
Yeah.
So I haven't made, money off of it yet. I don't know how you do that.
No, I mean,
But
why would you?
But I'm excited about it because it works.
Yeah.
So that's what the keyboard listener is. And so as a reference, this is my Maui program. This is the entrance to the application where I register all the things that I'm going to do in the application if I'm using dependency injection, if I'm using custom fonts, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go look at where the actual menus are handled. So in my main page, at the top of my XAML, pardon the scroll, this is my file products. You remember the products?
Mm-hmm.
Go back to it real quick. This beauty up here.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. So how am I doing that? So I've got my menu bar item at the top of menu bar items up here at the top. I've got a menu flyout item, preferences. So here's where I'm doing the keyboard accelerators. So it's great because it supports more than one, right? So on Mac, you have a command key. On Windows, you have a
Control key?
Windows key.
Oh.
But I don't want to do that because that doesn't really make sense on Windows.
Oh.
Control key makes sense.
Oh, so I was
So
right.
I switched. But in order to do that, I can do things like this. Or I could also use on platform, which is a XAML markup extension that we have. Or in code, if I'm doing this in code, I can just do if device platform, device info platform, etc.
Code.
So that's how that's happening. And it's going to, of course, execute this add product command, or it does that. How do I do the icons? Because I was super excited about this, getting this working as well. Ooh. So font image source is a thing that we've had for a long time in .NET MAUI since the beginning. So if you're using icon fonts, I highly recommend this. Saves you from having to manage a bunch of images. And so I just add that as my icon image source. And to show you how you can make this lengthy XAML a little bit cleaner, I have icon image source here, and I'm using a XAML markup extension to do this. Oh. So pretty cool, right?
When did we do that?
We have pretty much anything like this. It just kind of works.
That's pretty cool.
Talk to Stefan about it. He could probably explain to you all the reasons why it works.
Okay.
And, but yeah, very cool stuff. And I believe it's all hot reloadable now because there was a point in time where it wasn't.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that's very, very cool. All right, what else did I want to show you? So the pointer stuff. So pointers, this is where I was mentioning that when the pointer over happens, I have a visual state manager, and then I can, of course, do the setters to say, okay, change the color of the background, and then when it goes back to normal, it's no longer over, then change it back to the original color. Yep. That's the pointer stuff. I attach the cursor behavior here. This gives me the pointer finger, not the finger, the pointer finger.
The pointer finger.
As opposed to the the people in the room are laughing behind our backs. So that's where I get that. Let's see. Oh, and then the drag and drop, right? So when I do the drag and drop, I have on start dragging on completed. So can I navigate to this from here? Does that work in VS Code yet? No, I don't think it does. All right, so let's switch over to the code behind. Not that part, not that part. Oh, on the drag starting, yes. So on drag starting, I'm going to notify the panel on the other side that something's happening. So I'm using the weak reference manager, which comes from the .NET Community MVVM toolkit.
Oh.
I don't know if that's the exact name, but if you mix those words up, it's something like that.
Yeah.
So awesome. Love this for pub sub type stuff.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. And then I just check, okay, what am I dragging? What's the product? I get the binding context of the parent of the thing I'm dragging because it's a bound thing. I say, okay, what is it? And then I say, what product is it? And then I give them the PNGs.
Wow.
And then I supply that down here to the platform specific, again, multi-targeting. So this is very iOS specific. And I provide it to iOS right here. I load that puppy, load that sucker right up on into the UI. I feel like I'm channeling Miguel when I do stuff like that. Right?
Yeah.
Love
a little
love
retro
that guy.
action.
I love that guy. Yeah, so there's that. Then, of course, on drag over, how do I do these sorts of things? So I set the drop proposal to say, oh, yeah, I can copy that. So I don't know if you noticed that, but as I drag over here, you see how my cursor has a little plus icon?
Yeah.
That's what that's telling me, that, okay, I can add that to this thing.
Yeah.
If it's not permitted, if for whatever the reason the rules do not work in that case, then I could have it say prohibited or whatever the thing is. If you can't tell, I can't code unless IntelliSense works.
Yeah.
Because to try to regurgitate out of my mouth the name of the thing, 90%. That's why ChatGPT, or not ChatGPT, Copilot and I have a little issue.
Yeah.
Because it gives me code that looks amazing,
Yeah.
and I don't know enough to know that it's a lie.
Yeah.
But also,
Yeah.
I did code most of this stuff with ChatGPT, Copilot, and it was great.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Did I cover everything? You gave me like 7 minutes. I think it's been like 15.
It's fine.
Let's see.
I buffer it in now. I've known you for long enough.
Yeah, you did? You lied to me?
I did. I buffered in extra minutes for you.
All right, so I covered right click, covered the menu items, covered the drag and drop, keyboard accelerators I did, keyboard listener I did, cursor behavior I talked about. I think I'm good. So one thing to know about desktop as well as I'm kind of closing out, we've removed the dependency on Rosetta for ARM architecture,
Yes.
which is super exciting,
Huge.
as well as not just for our apps, but for mLaunch and for the tooling. mLaunch is the thing that launches your application and launches it in debug and things like that.
Yep.
So tooling has gotten faster. Desktop apps have gotten faster. We've worked very closely with some customers building desktop applications, profiling their applications, going deep, and collaborating with our awesome WinUI, WinApp SDK partners to improve our whole performance on desktop. So it's awesome. We're very, very excited about it.
Yeah.
All right, Maddie.
All right, back to the slides. Hopefully, yeah. Oh my gosh, it just worked. I didn't accidentally turn back on presenter view. I'm doing great. That was cool. That really came together since I last saw you at the bar last night at 7 p.m. So, I fell asleep.
I was going to my room at that point to finish the demo.
Well, that's what I figured.
That was the point.
So
I wasn't hanging out at the. Go ahead.
Right, I got you. My stuff was done mostly, except for the stuff that I added this morning. So, yeah, the best part about that demo, in my opinion, is it was all using C# Dev Kit.
But is anybody using this C# Dev Kit Maui thing?
I'm so glad you asked. A bunch of the Maui engineering team is here this week, which is super exciting. Hi, everybody, if you're watching across the street. And one of our engineering leads just came up to us after the keynote and before we came back over here for this and was like, you need to look at C# Dev Kit, like the Maui extension installs, like it's gone way up. And the line, sure enough, like, ba, 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 ba. So very exciting. So thank you everybody already.
Yes.
And I can't wait for the rest of the world to wake up and start downloading it too.
Yeah, I built all this with VS Code, so
yeah, that's awesome.
It's been great.
And there's a lot of work we want to do to it still. It's still in preview. Still got the preview thing, and we also have a pre-release channel, which ships a little bit more frequently. So XAML, IntelliSense, that kind of like go to definition and all that. And of course, hot reloading are things that we really want to make sure we get in there before we flip it off of preview. Yeah. Because as I was saying to Dave, working without hot reload after having using it for like, what, 3 or 4 years now?
Yes.
I don't know how to write code. Like it's horrible. But one thing I will always bring up, of course, Visual Studio 2022, we still love it. Not going anywhere. Today, we shipped 17.8 GA, which is the one that's been in preview for the past little bit, and 17.9 Preview 1, which I am very excited about. I was actually just editing the blog post for it, which will come out tomorrow with more details. But there's a bunch of things in it. And so what I want to show you is one of the things I am most proud of rhyming in my life, hot off the press in VS. Terrible.
Marketing is going to recruit you.
No, they're gonna fire me. So first and foremost, my Visual Studio is purple.
Ooh.
And that is amazing. Also, the UI is a little bit different. Look there's like bubbly things around things. What? This is 17.9 Preview 2. I'm actually on the internal preview because I'm showing you something that hasn't even shipped yet. The PR got merged today. But I am also going to show you things that you can use today with P1, including the new themes. So they're like tinted themes. If you go into the What's New page here, these tinted themes, you can hit the enable or disable right here, and it brings in a wider range of color themes. So I'm a dark mode girly, so I went for Juicy Plum, which kept it dark mode, but my you didn't like dark mode girly? You didn't like that?
No, it was fantastic. If you had asked me, what do you think Maddie would have chosen? I would have said
Juicy Plum.
Juicy Plum.
That's great. I really like Silky Pink. It looks like what I use in Edge when I want it to be in light mode. Oh. So pretty cool. Just changes. Lots of details in the blog post tomorrow. Say thank you to Dante for driving this ahead because this is amazing. And the UI refresh preview, which we gave like a sneak peek of a couple months ago, I think around build time, is now here for you to try out. So same thing, click into it and what's new, and then enable or disable it. And the consistency is really nice. I've been enjoying using it so far. It just kind of makes everything a little bit rounder. And we didn't do what we did in VS 2012 and make everything all caps. So you're welcome.
Oh, I remember this when they were A/B
When it
testing
shouted
it
at you?
internally.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is one VS look one way and the other VS look another way?
Yeah.
So it was this.
It was this. It was the UI refresh.
Early testing on us dog fooders.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm not going to take up too much time demoing things. There are a million videos of me and Dave talking about all the XAML tooling and blah, 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 and Visual Studio stuff. It's awesome. Every time I pull down an update on one of Dave's demos, I have to go into like live preview and just click around and be like, where did he do this? Where did he define this? Oh my God. That's the only way I can figure out anything that you write. So you're welcome. I do have my Copilot chat going, which is pretty cool. And this is just the Maui app 1. What I'm going to show you right now is not yet released. It will be coming in preview 2. Very, very sneaky. It is this new thing called the Live Property Explorer. I'm so excited. People have been asking for this forever. I got distracted because we had a special guest walk in the room who's probably just missed his face being dragged all over David's screen, but that's okay.
I saw that.
Oh, you did see it. Scott saw it. Great news, everybody. I'm sorry, I'm ruining the illusion. If I click on something, such as this image in XAML Live Preview, which is how I select a bunch of things, I see what they're rendered, it pops it up in my XAML, it pops it up in Live Visual Tree, and it pops it up in the new Live Property Explorer, which is similar to like when you use the like web inspect tools in a browser. So it shows you what is going on at runtime. So it goes through all my different styles and whatever, and it shows me exactly what is being rendered. It doesn't show me like what I've defined in the code. And then if I edit things, so if I'm like gonna go to this label and I wanna add something like text color, right? So let me search my properties, color. Oh, please, please. Great. I can go in and I can edit things here. I think this is the wrong color. That's okay. No, please scroll. Text color, I scrolled by it. I'm trying to figure out where the best place to put this window is. I haven't decided yet. I have too many windows for this one screen. What I could do is
That is
search.
a lot of windows.
Yeah, it's getting out of control. Anyways, when I type it in here, it will change it at runtime for me, which is very helpful, but it will not actually overwrite the XAML. So it's really great for trying things out, just wanting to see what things look like. Like even if I did font size, let me search that, let that pop up. Great. I can go in and I can edit things. And it will change things at runtime, which is cool. Again, so this is in preview 2. This is literally the first day it has been in our internal build, so very exciting. And you'll be able to use it very soon.
Sweet. I've been looking forward to that for a long time.
Yeah, me too.
I really have.
Yeah, every time we talk about it and with the engineering team, they're like, yo, Dave wants it, so we have to do it.
And I say, where's the thing that lets me do this thing? And they're like, well, that's called the Live Property Explorer, and it doesn't work for Maui. Now it does.
Now it does.
So, sweet.
So that's it. Just my little quick sneak peek of hot off the press in VS. Oh my goodness, I'm back in presenter. Oh no, I'm not back in presenter mode. It worked. Okay, good. All right, let's talk about RTL.
Yeah, so I wanted to highlight this because among all the things that we've heard from customers and developers over the previews of .NET MAUI 8, or .NET 8, MAUI in .NET 8, has been, you know, the incremental improvements compared to .NET 7. And one of the biggest ones that I took note of was the right-to-left support. As you can see on the screen here, these screens were provided to us by UX divers, Leonardo and Pablo and the whole team down there. So you can see .NET 7, early stuff, not so good. Not so good. Things are missing, things are not laying out properly, etc. The .NET 8, however, awesome. And so they were like, thank you so much. You know, this is amazing. You can read the quote. This is pretty typical of the kind of feedback that we've been hearing when we get to engage directly with developers that are using the latest .NET 8 bits. Now it's out in GA. Now it's your turn, right? So look forward to hearing all the things that you have to say about it, especially if you're using right to left. But if you're looking for any of the key improvements in the quality, we want to hear from you. Let's go to the next slide.
Oh, I was just thinking about this. I was like, why did he put the .NET 8 picture on the left? And then I realized it's because it's right to left. So the new one's on the left, right? For those of you.
It's almost like it was planned that way.
Oh my goodness.
So that's, you know, obviously not last but not least,
yes.
right? Tons of other things. As mentioned earlier in our talk here, the release notes are huge, exhaustive.
huge.
Not everything got included there. Our documentation team put together an amazing What's New in .NET 8 with MAUI. So go to our learn.microsoft.com, .NET MAUI, to check all that stuff out. But here's just a highlighted list. We mentioned, the Rosetta stuff, the right to left stuff. Collection view for sure has seen a lot of work and improvement. Yes. Not to say that we have declared mission accomplished on any of these things.
No.
Still more work to go. We are heads down, planning out the next phases of things, starting another sprint. So we're super excited to continue this journey. But as you can see across the board, tons of improvements on all the things that we know that you're using in your applications.
Yeah, I almost hate to do this already, but like, you know what's next after .NET 8?
It never slows down, does it?
No.
It's almost like we're in a race car.
Oh.
What?
Very funny.
What?
Very funny. .NET 9, I mean, it's a year away.
Yeah.
So we're planning. And now that .NET 8 is kicked out the door, we're never going to look at it again. No, I'm just kidding. It is an LTS version, so we will look at it plenty for MAUI. So yeah, I don't know. We got a lot of goals. We want to hear from you. So
yeah, we definitely want to hear from you on these things. Kind of on the list here that are we're taking feedback on. We have a design doc for Swift Interop in particular that we would like some feedback on. Trying to figure out the best areas for us to invest in initially. It's a big topic. So where is it going to be the most impactful? As I mentioned before, we kind of were more opportunistic on performance and memory management and things like that. So this time around, what can we do to really improve on build times, to improve on runtime performance? And it tends to differ by platform, right? It's not just across the board. When we get .NET performance improvements, that tends to be beneficial all over the place. But as we're looking specifically at MAUI and where we can improve things, it's per platform. Yeah. So we know that we want to go back into some of those things and see how far we can push things, especially now that we are unified into .NET. And we have more alignment on the runtimes, on the build systems, the project systems. Let's start to really innovate on these things and see how far we can get.
Yeah.
So super excited about that. And again, we will be aggressively servicing .NET 8. Right. So I mentioned this in my blog post. If you haven't read it, please do. We are going to be aggressively servicing as compared to what you saw in .NET 7. We heard very clearly, hey, we need more bug fixes more quickly. But we needed to just kind of step back from our releases and say, what are we missing from a QA standpoint, testing, manual testing, the whole deal? What are our processes that are missing to improve things? And we've done that now. We feel like we have a lot of that in place. So let's go ahead and be more aggressive with the bug fixes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're looking forward to. But it's early days. None of these things are really committed as far as the things that you're seeing here on the board.
Yeah.
And we may entertain other things. So let us know what you'd like to see.
Now's the time to tell us because we finish .NET 8 or we ship it, we go away for the holidays, and then we come back and we hit the ground running on .NET 9. So now's the time. For those of you who are not on MAUI yet and maybe are on MAUI's older brother, Xamarin or Xamarin Forms, we are still heavily investing in the .NET Upgrade Assistant. The most recent time, I gave a demo on it a couple weeks ago at DevReach in Bulgaria. Shout out to Progress. That was a great event. And the just joy I had in making that demo compared to when I did the exact same demo a year before, it was like a world different. So if you tried it a year ago and you're kind of like, it didn't really work back then, we've added a lot. We've even added like in-place light bulbs. So if you're doing things manually, it'll say like, this is a Xamarin namespace, get this out.
Yeah, if you copy code from a Xamarin sample into a MAUI application, you're going to get some light bulbs now that'll tell you how to tidy that up and make it compatible.
Yeah, and if you were an early adopter of MAUI, this will also get you from .NET 6 or 7 onto .NET 8. So take advantage of that. We have a hotline email.
Yes. Hotline.
That means emergencies, all right? Not, hey, Dave, your shirt's so cool, but I wish it was a Hawaiian shirt, which would be fine too. MAUI-upgrades at Microsoft.com, where we're engaging customers who have niche questions. We know everybody's app is different. So if you're like, this random thing isn't working and I don't know what to do, we can hopefully try and put you in the right direction. And of course, thank you to everybody, all of the packages, all of the people who build on top of .NET or alongside .NET, especially with MAUI, or control vendors. Join us for our community stand-ups first Thursday of every month. We usually round out some of these. We have a great time, and it's been awesome to see the momentum. So, yeah. And we are at no shortage of Maui sessions.
I
at
know,
.NET
right?
Conf.
Look at how many there are.
I know, there's a ton. So we have some first-party ones. You know, we have folks on the team, like we had Peppers earlier. We have Beth and Alon tomorrow. But we also have a bunch of community sessions and some blended ones where we have a community person and a team person. So check all them out. They'll all be uploaded again after the event too, so you can watch them in whatever time zone works for you. But right on time, absolutely nailed it.
3,
Thank you.
2, 1.
.net/Maui. Get.net. That's a horrible URL to say out loud. But thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining. I think Rich is still our host, right?
Rich
so he's
is
going to
still
heckle
our
us for a
host.
few minutes.
Yes,
So.
yes.
Yeah.